everybody, and welcome to tonight's live session. I am so excited for this one. I hope you're taking some time to tune in with me and a very special guest tonight. She'll be joining us in just a minute or so. We are going to be talking about how to get promoted in 2023. This is your year. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I'm going to be joining a very special guest in just a moment, who me and her combined have made a lot of strides in our own career, achieving 17 promotions combined in the last decade. So we definitely know a thing or two about getting promoted. So as everybody is trickling in, I want to thank you so much in advance for joining us tonight. I see all the waves coming in. Thank you guys. It's great to see you here. Let us know as you're trickling in where you're joining us from, what kind of work you do, maybe what your big goal is for 2023. And we should have some time at the end to take some questions. Here she is now. Let me go ahead and welcome Grossman joining us. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. Let me just make sure she's able to come on with me. I just accepted. Perfect. I think she's coming on now. Oh, amazing. What a global group here tonight. And hi, Maya.
Hi, Tiffany.
Amazing. Okay, we are going to kick this thing off. I was just welcoming everybody for tuning in. We are so excited. We have a really amazing global group with us here tonight. Let us know again in the chat where you're from, maybe what kind of work you do, what your big goal is for 2023. And if you didn't see already in the title and the promo leading up to this really exciting live tonight, Maya and I are joining forces to help you get promoted in 2023. We definitely know a thing or two about that, having achieved 17 promotions combined as two badass corporate ladies over the last decade. And we want to teach you what you need to do to make that happen. We will probably have some time at the end for some questions. So as a quick reminder, if anyone is new to IG Lives with me, there is a little question bubble in the bottom right of your screen. That's where we can document the questions. So if you have any questions coming to mind, just make sure to put them in that little question bubble so that we can keep track and not lose out on any questions that you might have for us. So let's jump in. We'll do some quick intros, and then we're going to jump right into the nitty gritty. So, I mean, I'm sure most of you know who I am by now, but in case, I'm Tiffany Uman. I am a former Fortune 500 senior director with 13 plus years of corporate experience. In that time, I achieved 7 promotions in under 10 years, and I'm now a full-time career strategy coach, all about paying it forward and coaching ambitious professionals to fast-track your career success, get promoted faster, secure those 5- and 6-figure salary raises with ease, and of course, land amazing proactive opportunities without compromising your well-being. I'm also a published author, a LinkedIn learning instructor, and global speaker, and I am so honored to be joined by Maya Grossman tonight. If you guys don't follow her, you need to. She is crushing it over on LinkedIn. I mean, over 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. It's just amazing. She drops so much valuable content around promotions, advancement, and tonight's session is going to be fire. A little bit about Maya, and then I want her to introduce herself too, but she has a really impressive track record. She is a career success coach, but even prior to that was a 2-time VP within the corporate space, in the marketing space. She's a best-selling author. She was promoted 10 times in 15 years, has worked for companies like Microsoft and Google. I mean, it just keeps going. And she is all about teaching ambitious professionals to take quantum leaps in their careers and earn those high 6 figures without working harder. I mean, I just love that. I'm so all about that mission. Maya, welcome. Is there anything you'd like to add before we jump in?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. You totally nailed it. You can introduce me anywhere we go. But I just want people to know how we met, because this is so exciting. We're both in, we have very similar backgrounds, and I was stalking Tiffany on Instagram, and I loved her content so much. Every time she posted something, I was like, hell yes, this is me, this is it. And we connected. We realized we have so many shared values and ideas. And that's how
Oh,
we decided
I
to come
love
here
it.
today to
Yes,
talk to you.
absolutely. I'm so happy you shared the story. I mean, connections are incredible, and I think we are really living proof of, reach out to that person. I'm so happy that Maya and I connected because not only is she a fellow career coach, but she is a good friend, and we love supporting one another. And we are all here tonight to support you in making these goals happen this year. So maybe on that note, we're going to jump right in. We've got kind of 4 core themes, questions that we're going to be tackling tonight together. And the first one is really around, what it takes to get promoted. I think that's a big question that a lot of us have. And of course, if any of you guys have questions throughout tonight's session, as a quick reminder, just drop it in the little question bubble so that if we have time to come back to it, we definitely will. There's this really important stat that if you haven't read it, you need to know it. And it's really that only 9% of people get promoted. Maya's going to dive into this a little bit more as to, where that misconception really comes from. Why is it only 9%? That sounds shockingly low, right? And, I often say that, when it comes to getting promoted and advancement, only a small fraction is really around the work, right? But it's this thought that school teaches us that it's our work that does all the heavy lifting, right? It's you work hard, you get the good grades, you ace your group projects. So we come into the workforce with this mentality, and it's really backwards because the working world and corporate life is very different. So I want to throw it over to Maya to build a little bit more on this and really to share what her biggest secrets are in what it actually takes to get a promotion.
Yeah, well, you totally nailed it. I think the biggest misconception that people have is that working hard is going to get you promoted. And unfortunately, that only applies very, very early in your career when you're just building your skills. But in the long term, to your point, your actual work has a very small impact on your ability to grow. You still need it, but it's only about 10 or 15% of what people look at when they're thinking about promoting you. And I think, this misconception comes from a place, this is what we've been taught to do, work hard, keep your head down, play by the rules, and you're going to get the reward. But that's exactly the reason why most people don't get promoted, because they just do what everyone else does and they get the same results that everyone else gets. And if you want to break the cycle, you need to do something differently. Now, I have a description that explains what a promotion is. People think you get a promotion as a reward for doing your job well. But a promotion is actually a vote of confidence in your ability to do next level work. Let me explain that again. You can do the same work over and over again at your level, and you can be really good at it, but you will still not get promoted. And if you learn how to demonstrate that you can do next level work, that's how you're going to make the jump. You need to break the cycle and show the people who are actually going to get you promoted that you can do it. And you don't need to figure out everything, but you need to show an indication that you're ready and willing and able.
It is so good. I couldn't agree more. It really is that vote of confidence. You need to already be showcasing that you're at that level without even necessarily being at that level, so that you could minimize the guesswork and doubt in people's minds around that advancement, right? So you nailed that. I know they don't
Managers don't read minds. I know we all wish
no,
they did.
no, there's no crystal ball. They don't just know
And
what's going on.
think,
It's wishful thinking, right?
not to mention, unfortunately, you're probably not their top priority. Not because they don't like you, not because they're not good people, but because they have so much on their plate. So it's really your responsibility to think about your promotion and what you need to do. And I'm a very organized person, so I have acronyms for a lot of things. And we talked about what a promotion is not. It's not a reward for doing your job well. So what do you actually need to get promoted? I think there are 5 things that you're going to need, okay? And I call them start up. And here's what it is. You need to have a strategy. That means you need to know what the next level looks like and what steps you need to take to get there. That's number 1. You need to have advocates. You need to have people who will speak on your behalf, because when the conversation about your promotion is going to happen, you will not be in the room. You need people who are going to vouch for you. You also need to have a strong reputation. You need to have a brand in order to get leverage. You still need achievements, so you still need to do your work and you need to do it well. You to make a business case for your promotion. You need to tie your success to the company's success. And if you can do these 5 things, you're going to turn every lady into a
so good. So good. We're seeing a lot of heart coming through. I think that's resonating a lot with people tuning in with us tonight. That's so good. I hope you guys all wrote that down. I love that acronym, startup. It's pretty much very all-inclusive of that roadmap that's going to help you really accelerate that. And if I could layer on a few just additional pieces that really builds off of what Maya said, you know, some of the things that I think are that foundational element of that strategy, the reputation, the advocacy is really tying with the personal brand that you're creating for yourself, right? When you are able to establish a strong personal brand that goes beyond just the work and being a hard worker, a good performer, but having a brand that speaks to you, that resonates with others, that helps people feel a certain way about you as an employee, as a talent in the company, that is going to skyrocket your exposure and visibility and recognition in a big way and get you very much on the radar of those advocates, of the people that you need in your corner, right? And if I could add another just quick thing, and it speaks really nicely to what Maya was saying about those achievements in the business case, it's the self-advocacy. You need to be able to advocate for yourself and not to expect that others are going to do it for you. So it's one thing to know what those achievements are, but really refine your communication. Make sure that you're able to speak to this in a very impactful way so that you are putting those pieces of the puzzle together and once again removing the doubt in the minds of those decision makers who are going to influence the decision around your advancement. Okay. Good. So far, exactly. Everyone, give us some hearts if you are following. Let us know in the question bubble if you have any questions. We're going to come back to them towards the end of the session because we've got quite a few questions we want to get through so that you can get all the value that you need out of this incredible live tonight. And we should have a little bit of time at the end for some outstanding questions. But we're getting a lot of hearts coming in. So let's keep it going, Maya, because, okay, we've talked about what it takes to actually get a promotion. Some really great pointers that you brought forward. Let's talk now a little bit more about the mistakes that people are doing that are really holding them back from that promotion. So what would you say are some of those common mistakes that are really keeping people feeling stuck or stagnant and is preventing them from really changing the trajectory of their career?
Yeah, so there are definitely a few, but let's focus on some of the most common ones. And I think the first one is, we kind of alluded to that, just doing your job. Now, I'm not talking about working more hours or burning out, but only doing what is described in your job description. Once again, more of the same is not a demonstration that you're ready for more. So you need to make sure that you're always stepping a little bit outside of your job description. And when you do that, you're also going to learn how to remove some of the tasks that you had before that are not actually going to move you towards your goals. So just doing your job, mistake number 1. Number 2, being invisible, not advocating for yourself. Now, I know it's uncomfortable. I used to hate it. I used to feel so bad about bragging. This is what I thought it was, bragging and being salesy and sending all those emails to everyone, you know, and taking credit. I don't like it, but there are actually different ways to advocate for yourself. But I want you to think this way. You don't advocate for yourself. This is kind of like the saying, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, did it make a noise? It's exactly the same with your work. If no one knows what you did, it doesn't actually exist. So you have to make sure that you have visibility. And there are different ways to do it. We both teach them. You don't have to be super salesy. You don't have to shout from the rooftops and claim credit. There are a lot of ways to do it in a collaborative way that's going to make you feel good, and it's going to help you build your brand. So that was mistake number 2, not actually advocating for yourself and being invisible. The next one is a little weird, but a lot of people, especially high achievers, I think make this mistake, and that is becoming too invaluable, being so valuable that they can't fire you. They can't, promote you. Let me explain what I mean by that. It means that you don't really share the knowledge. It means that you hold all the power. You don't let your team or other people make decisions. You don't share anything. And to the outside world, it seems so hard to replace you that they prefer to hire someone externally and not promote you. And you do not want to be in this place. And this is a mistake that a lot of managers do at the beginning of their career, and you want to avoid it. And a great way to do that is to always have a number two. Always train someone to be a replacement. So when the day comes, it's an easy transition. And, it's not going to be hard for the company to think, how am I going to replace this person? It's never going to work. It's going to be too difficult. So you definitely want to avoid that. Another mistake is not having a support team, not having people who can advocate for you. And you already mentioned this. It's such a big mistake that people make. I did that for the first 7 years of my career. I kept my head down. I worked hard. I thought networking was for slackers who wanted to have wine, and go to events. But at the end of the day, people promote people. Machines, people. And you're not going to be in the room when the decision is made. So you have to have advocates there. You have to invest in those relationships early so that when the time is right, they will be happy to vouch for you. And I think lastly, and this is so stupid, but so many of us have done it over and over again, ask for a promotion. You can't assume that people will give it to you. You can't assume that your manager knows that you want to level up. You actually have to ask for it. You have to have a conversation with your manager, explain your goals, and build a roadmap to get there. So I would say those are probably my top mistakes.
Oh my gosh, Maya, that is
any
just like
others?
mind blown. I'm totally with you on all of that. I'm curious if anyone joining us has fallen into those types of mistakes. Just give us some hearts if you've kind of found yourself making some of those mistakes. And by the way, Maya and I are passing no judgment because we've actually, made these mistakes too earlier in our career. So please, this is a safe space. Okay, we want you to feel fully supported. And yeah, you know what? I would actually add maybe 3 additional mistakes that echo a little bit what you shared, but maybe from a different angle. One I would say is really over relying on your boss to advocate for you, right? Of course, we always hear, okay, your boss has to be in your corner. Your boss has to be a big supporter. Yes, of course, and I hope that is the case for everyone. But please do not take that for granted, that just because they support you, that they are going to do the legwork. You own your own career. They don't know everything about you. I always say you never want people to assume things of you. And if you don't vocalize, if you don't take that ownership, well, they are going to assume. And that could lead you down this track when you really wanted to go down that track instead. So that's a really big mistake I see too often. Another one I would say, even Maya, is being a bit naive around the internal advancement process of the company. Whether it's maybe you're hearing that to get to the manager position, you need to stay in your current role for 2 years. And I know you and I, we really vibe off of this one, because if we took that kind of advice, we would not have achieved the 17 combined promotions that we did, because that is for the average employee, right? That's for the person that is just going by the books, learning a lot of and applying what we learned in school of just, very black and white, and not challenging those timelines. If you use those timelines as just a face value, then you're going to use those timelines as your guide, and there won't be any sense of urgency to make it happen sooner. So that's a big mistake. So definitely use that as inspiration of, okay, if that's what they're working towards, what can I already do to make it happen sooner? And I'd say maybe the final mistake to add on, Maya, is not owning your wins enough, but also beyond that, not knowing how to actually frame and talk about your accomplishments, right? It's not just about saying what you've done. I built out this plan, I made that budget, I, put together this entire presentation, or those are the things that you're expected to do in your role. You need to be able to take it further with showing the value that comes from it. And one thing I love from you, Maya, that you share a lot is that kind of very important contrast between outputs versus outcomes. Would you mind maybe sharing that a little bit with our audience?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God. This is a lesson that I learned early on from my manager at Microsoft. I was about to join a global team, and I was really worried that I'm going to have to work crazy hours to accommodate everyone. And I kind of asked my manager, what are you expecting me to do? And he basically said, you know what? I need results. I don't care how you get them. You can work 2 hours, you can work 7 hours, you can work in the morning, you can work in the evening. I want you to actually achieve your results. And that is what taught me the difference between outputs and outcomes. Now, let me explain. An output is something that you create. So For example, if you're a marketer like me, you write blog posts, right? So my manager may tell me, I need you to write 30 blog posts, this month. But a blog post is an output. What happens when you actually share that blog post? People see it. People come to your website. Maybe people buy your product. That is an outcome. When you optimize for outputs, I need to create 30 blog posts. You can have 0 business results. You will put all that work and nothing will happen. Optimize for outcomes. If you think about how can I get more people read this blog post and actually, buy, that means you're going to create outcomes. So you can write maybe 2 blog posts instead of 30 and get better results. And the more you think in the lens of the results, the outcomes, how will this affect the bottom line, more you're going to be able to explain how your work has actually moved the needle. And the more you do that, the more strategic you are, the higher up you're going to go, and the more valuable you're going to be for the company. And here's the thing, the more value you add, the more valuable you become.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Oh, so good. So good. I hope you guys all, really grasp that concept. It's so important. When you tap into that, it really is a game changer. I love that. And, I think this ties nicely, Maya, with the next piece we wanted to cover together, which is, a little bit more around, okay, we covered the do's and don'ts and all of that, but there's something that is really critical, that holds so many professionals back in their advancement, and it's mindset, right? I say often that mindset will either be your biggest asset or liability in your career. And if it's not fueled the right way, it's like, that self-confidence, that self-trust, that self-belief is fundamental in taking your career to that next level. And if you don't believe it for yourself, no one else is going to believe it. And it's going to show up in your action and also your inaction of things that you're not doing that you really should be doing instead. So what's your take on that, Maya? Do you agree? And what would you say when it comes to mindset that's really important, or even some key mindset shifts that will really help people move closer to that promotion?
I mean, first and foremost, of course I agree. If I had to quantify it, I would say that probably 80% of my success is mindset, and only 20% is the execution. Yes, it is that big, because very often we put barriers for ourselves. We are the ones who are stopping ourselves. We're letting our fears control us. And I think a couple of different mindset shifts that you need to do to kind of get out of that situation and get yourself to take action. Well, first and foremost, I think one of the biggest problems is that people cannot rise above their own opinion of themselves. What that means is that you can take action that is not in line with who you believe you are, with your identity. So if you don't believe you're capable of something, you will literally create a situation where you can't achieve it. You have to believe in yourself. Now, not necessarily so easy done. So I have a little trick for you. It's something I have been using for years because I have a bit of an obsession. I compare myself all the time. I know it's not a good thing. I know it usually actually sabotages your mindset, but I figured out a way to use it to my advantage. And I want to teach people how to do that. So when you're thinking about the next level and you don't feel confident that you can do it, or you're not really ready to believe in yourself, I want you to look for people who are one step ahead of you, not people who are 10 years into the future. When I was a manager, I did not look at VPs and CMOs. I just wanted someone who was one level ahead of me. To their LinkedIn and do a little bit of research. Here's what you're going to find. You're going to find that most of them are kind of like you. And they had a similar beginning, and they don't have special skills or anything so unique that's going to stop you from achieving the same goal. And that's going to make you feel better. You're going to think, if this person did it, I can probably do it. Here's a tip for you. If you want to go the extra mile, reach out to them. Have a conversation. Ask them, hey, how did you actually make the move from this level to the next one? And they will give you the formula. They will literally tell you what it takes to get there. And just having those conversations, that's going to feel so much more attainable. It's going to feel like something that's within your reach. And that's how you're going to shift your mindset from not believing in yourself, not having the confidence, to having at least faith that you can figure it out. And I think that's one of the biggest shifts you need to make when you start thinking about leveling
It's such a good point. And, to build on that, Maya, really believing in your own value that you have, right? It's so easy to discount what we bring to the table when we are looking at people who are that one step, two steps ahead, right? But so often, and I've seen this in my own career too, with my own career journey, where there were people I really looked up to, and I was like, wow, it's a little intimidating speaking with them. And yet the moment I spoke with them, they were speaking accolades back about me. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that's what they thought. And it's just a really important kind of reality check for us to keep in mind that, similar to what you said before, Maya, our own limitations will dictate what we're capable of. And so even when it comes to those networking relationships, if you already take yourself out of the race, you already tell yourself, I don't deserve to talk to that person, or they're not going to have time to talk to me, or, I don't really bring much to the conversation. That is a really loser mindset that is going to keep you stuck and playing small. So own it, right? Know that you have that value. Believe in yourself, and you'll surprise your own being when you have these conversations and how receptive they are. And people genuinely like talking about themselves. So if you're reaching out to someone about their path, how they inspire you, how you admire them, they're going to be pretty responsive. I have yet to see a response that I've reached out to someone, commending them for their work or something that they've done and getting like zero response. It just rarely happens. And you could definitely apply that, at really all levels in the workplace. Okay, amazing. And maybe just to end off on that mindset note, just something I really love reminding everyone tuning in, just because something might feel hard doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing it. Every level of advancement is going to feel uncomfortable, especially if it's, those bigger leaps, getting into the people management, the director level, the VP level. This is a whole different ball game. You're never fully prepared for that next step, but you need to believe that you can do it, because if you don't, you're going to self-sabotage, right? So it all comes back to that mindset, and you're going to take yourself out of the race before it's even begun. Okay.
Yeah, and I would actually add something small to that I see with a lot of people, especially when I talk to them about leveling up, and I tell them, you need to start doing next level work before you actually get the title, before you get the compensation. And people get really upset because I think they have a scarcity mindset. They think, oh, but I'm not going to get compensated. Why should I do more work? But I want to flip the script for a minute and ask you, wouldn't you want to get paid, learn the skills that are going to get you to the next level? This is basically a paid on-the-job training that eventually will get you the promotion that you want, the raise, everything that comes with it. So you have to stop thinking in terms of present and what you're getting right now. Think about the marshmallow test, right? Can you wait 10 minutes to have the marshmallow so you can have two? It's the same with your career. Can you invest a little bit upfront, upgrade your skills to demonstrate that you have some next level skills, so that you can actually open the doors for that promotion and get the reward later down the road, but the reward will be so much bigger. So changing from having that scarcity mindset to having an abundance mindset, and trusting that those opportunities will come. And now this obviously comes with a little caveat. You do need to get compensated at the end of the day. Maybe not immediately, but you can't keep doing more forever. So just be mindful about when it's time for you to actually ask for that promotion. And if you're not getting it, it's probably time to look for another
so well
employer.
said. I hope everyone's paying attention to this, right? I mean, these are golden nuggets. These are golden pieces of advice. Tried, tested, and proven, guys. I mean, we're speaking from that experience. We're helping our clients do this daily. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? And it's absolutely within reach. So we've covered quite a bit so far, Maya. We've talked about, what it actually takes to get promoted. We've kind of debunked those mistakes that are really holding people back. We dove into the importance of mindset, which is so fundamental. I completely agree. You gave the stat of like 80% is mindset. I couldn't agree more. And honestly, that applies to a lot of things, life, right? There is no exception. Like, mindset is half the battle, and it's going to exude a certain energy that people will resonate with or not resonate with. So you need to be really cognizant of that in fueling that career growth. So now that we've kind of covered those really important fundamentals, let's now start talking about the plan, right? you know, we are so pumped to really help you get started doing this and make sure that 2023 is that year that you finally nail that long-awaited promotion. So what would you say, Maya, are some of like the key action steps or that the game plan, if you will, that will really help put everything that we talked about into action?
Yeah, so if you're thinking in a very practical matter, I think the first step is to get clarity about what it is you're after. What is the role that you want, and what is it going to take to get there? What are the actual skills? What are the KPIs that you're going to have to hit? And you can do some of that research on your own, right? You can talk to other people at your company, you can research on the internet. But at the end of the day, the best thing that you can do is to talk to your manager about your promotion. And I know a lot of people are very scared of having that conversation, but here's the good thing. You don't need to go and ask for the promotion. You don't need to go and demand it. You just need to have a conversation about growth, about potential, about you wanting to have a bigger part and a bigger impact on the company. You're not supposed to get a promotion from the first conversation. You're supposed to plant a seed so that your manager is now aware. They can help you create more opportunities. And most importantly, you are going to align on what success looks like. You're going to agree that if you hit specific KPIs, if you're able to demonstrate specific achievements, that's going to qualify you for a promotion. And here's why you're going to do it. Because if you don't, 6 months from now, after you did a ton of work, you can actually debate whether or not you were successful or not. Your manager can say, oh, it's not what I meant. I wanted you to do something else. But if you align in advance, and by the way, get it in writing, so have an email, paper trail. But if you do that, when it comes time for you to get promoted, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So clear on what it actually takes, get your manager involved, and have a conversation about the step-by-step that you need to take, align on the KPIs, and then, no surprise, go and do that. You actually need to do the work. I'm very practical, so I would actually take all of these tasks, everything that you agreed on with your manager, and I will put them in a spreadsheet, in Asana, whatever you use to manage your day-to-day, and actually work on them. And I would use those goals as a compass. Every time something comes my way, another meeting, another thing that people are asking you, I'm going to look at my goals and I'm going to ask, will this get me closer to my goal? Will this get me closer to a promotion? If the answer is no, you deprioritize. You don't do it. You delegate, you automate, or you completely remove it. This is very important because your goal is not to work more hours. Just because you want to get promoted, it doesn't mean you need to do the work of 2 people. It means that you need to prioritize work that will get you closer to the promotion and deprioritize or remove work that is not going to get there. And I think if you can do these steps in the next couple of weeks, you will set yourself up for success in 2023. It's going to get the promotion so much closer than you actually
love that, Maya. I just have like a mic drop for every point. I couldn't agree more. I'm seeing so many hearts coming through. You guys, this is an amazing session tonight. I have a few points I want to add as well, but if you have any questions on what we're sharing, make sure you're dropping them in the question bubble so that we can hopefully get to some before we end tonight's session. But those were fire. Like, honestly, I think a big theme with what you shared there, Maya, is the action, right? Like, just don't sit back and wait for things to happen. And I'm a big advocate of taking active control of your career because that's where the magic really happens. So on that note, I'll maybe share just a few additional points to build on what you shared. And it ties a lot nicely with that action plan. But something I often really allude to is really identifying the gaps between your point A to your point B. You're in a role right now. Your goal is to get to next role. Your job as the employee is to get crystal clear on what those gaps are that are preventing you from getting there faster. And most often, you're going to have to prompt that conversation. Your boss isn't just going to miraculously come to you one day and say, hey, Tiffany, you know what? I know because I'm reading your mind that you want to get this next step. Here's, all the things that you need to do to get there. Go. I mean, that would be a dream scenario, but unfortunately, it happen, right?
Yeah,
and so one of the big things you need to be on the lookout for so you do not fall into that trap, like Maya was saying, where it's like 6 months goes by, you're doing all this energy, all this effort, only to be disappointed that your promotion isn't coming through is do not fall for surface level feedback and think that's enough. When your boss is giving you feedback, when you're asking about advancement, when you're opening up that conversation and you're being met with those comments or responses like, you're doing great, keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, trust in the process. Those might sound good, but they are not actionable. What can you do from that? Pretty much zero, nulch, right? So you need to prompt and probe further to get much more specificity around exactly where you should be putting your precious time and energy to close those gaps. Without that information, you're probably going to end up on a bit of a hamster wheel, doing the work, feeling like you're doing the right thing, and then you still net out where you started. And we want to avoid that, right? And then maybe just to build on the last piece is relationships, relationships, relationships. Those key decision makers, there's key decision makers in every organization, startups, big corporate, family-sized businesses, family-run businesses, whatever it is, okay? There are key decision makers running the show and really influencing advancement decisions internally. Your job as the employee in this action plan is to understand who those people are beyond just your boss and make sure that you are forging direct relationships with them. Do not rely on others just to speak positive word of mouth. That's part of it, but you need to be able to help them understand directly from you what you want and forge a one-to-one connection that's going to absolutely change the game. Okay. Whoa. Yeah.
That was so good. Oh my God. I mean, basically, in the last, I don't know, what, 35, 40 minutes, we have given people the exact blueprint, like literally everything that you need to do to get promoted this year. And I'm going to say something, and a lot of people are not going to like hearing it, but I'm assuming 90% of people are not going to follow through because it sounds like too much. It sounds like a lot of work, or they don't have the right mindset and they keep thinking, why should I do so much? Why shouldn't I just get promoted because I've been here for 2 years or because I worked so hard? And the answer is, unfortunately, because this is how it works. And if you want to get the promotion, we're giving you the tools, we're giving you the knowledge, we're giving you the action. You just need to follow through. And I actually promise you, it's a lot easier than you think, because when you learn how to think about everything from the lens of, will it get me closer to my goal? It becomes your habit. So it's not about doing more work. It's about creating a new lifestyle, a new practice of how you do your day-to-day work that will get you there. And it's kind of like, instead of working in your job, you're going to start working on your career. So you're going to stop looking at it from the inside. You're going to look at it from the outside, like a CEO, and just kind of manage everything that happens instead of being someone who just waits for other people to give them opportunities. Because this is true, and I know a lot of people are not going to believe this. You can create anything you want in your career. You can literally achieve anything. If it does not defy the laws of physics, you can make it happen. You actually are in control. I know it's hard to see it, especially with the economy right now, but I promise you, you always have a choice. You can make a decision to change employers. You can make a decision to qualify yourself for the next level. You can make a decision to earn more money, but then you're going to have to do the work to get there. So we shared literally everything they need to do today, and I am so excited for everyone who will follow through.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you will see.
And the beauty of it, Maya, is that you learn it once and then you just master it and you keep applying it. It's not complicated. I say this all the time. Fast tracking your career success doesn't have to be complicated. This doesn't have to feel like a black box and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can guarantee all of you that the things that are happening in your day-to-day play such a big role in the bigger outcome, the bigger goals that you're achieving. And if you are discounting these day-to-day moments and the things that you could be doing, and to Maya's point, building up those habits now, you're going to miss the mark if you don't do that, and it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to follow through. So maybe on that note, Maya, I'm going to just pop into the question box. I think we got a bunch of questions coming through, so we probably won't be able to handle all of them, but let me get to the bottom. Yes.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, one question we got was, how would you apply for the role your boss won't sign off on or sign off for? They think you are not ready yet. So boss won't sign off on.
I love that.
They don't think you're ready yet.
Okay, So let's play this because you actually gave us the guidelines on how to do this. You need specific feedback. Not ready means absolutely nothing. So when your boss tells you, I don't think you're ready, you say, you know what? That's really good feedback. Can you explain to me then what I will actually need to do? What are the 3, 5 KPIs I'm going to have to hit? What are the projects I need to work on? What do I need to demonstrate in order to qualify for that next level? And you get specifics and you write them down. You have the paper trail and you start doing the work. And I'll give you another tip. Don't just do the work for 6 months and then ask for that promotion. Single month, when you have your one-on-one with your manager, update them, tell them what you're doing, show them your progress, and make sure that you're still moving in the right direction. Now, if you do all of that and you still get the feedback that you're not ready, my friend, this is a time for you to look for a new employer. Because if you did the work, if you actually followed through on what you were asked to do, but you're not being rewarded, that's more of a politics kind of internal problem.
So true. And the paper trail is really critical here. Not enough people are doing this. And so if you have a wishy-washy manager who changes their mind like they change their underwear, and one day they're telling you this, the next day they're telling you you need to do that, that is going to be very difficult and frustrating and aggravating. And yeah, it might mean eventually changing companies. It might mean simply changing teams to a manager, a leader that is much more in line with how you need to be supported. And again, self-advocacy there is key, where you can absolutely request that. You can put the plan in place to possibly change to a team where you will actually thrive, right? So these are such great points. I love what you shared, Maya. Let's see if we can get another question in. When is the best time to ask for a promotion?
After you spend 6 months working on it. So I kind of mentioned it today. I alluded to that. Your goal is not to have a first conversation with your manager and say, hey, I want a promotion, because that's a little bit intimidating. I can tell you as a hiring manager, that's a little bit scary. What you want to do is plant a seed. You want to have a conversation, let's say about 6 months before you're ready. And you want to have that conversation about career growth. You want to talk about potential advancement. You want to lay out what it looks like, and you want to get your manager on board. And then you're going to project manage your own promotion. You're going to do everything that we told you to do. You're going to check in every month. And when you hit all these goals, and that can be 3 months, 6 months, a year, it really depends on how big is the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And I've had clients who closed that gap in 6 weeks because they actually had everything they needed, but they never demonstrated their capabilities. So it really depends on where you're at, having that alignment with your manager. And then when you're ready, it's not a surprise, because every month you let them know about your progress and what you're doing. And then you're going to have the conversation, and you're going to come to the conversation prepared with a business case that demonstrates that not only you achieved everything that you've discussed, you actually exceeded expectations. And when you do that, that's when it's not a conversation about, if, it's a conversation about when. And that's the power of actually managing.
That is amazing, Maya. I couldn't agree more. And if I can add a quick final point on that one as well, be cognizant and be aware of what internal timelines or processes are when these decisions are being made. Because you also don't want to miss the boat by starting conversations too late, where maybe if, let's say, year-end timeframe, I should say, is like the key decisions for most promotions in the company, and you start having this conversation like a month after and doing it months before December, as an example, you're missing the boat entirely, right? So it echoes really nicely what Maya's saying of having that preparedness, that plan to build up to, and the continuity of dialogue, which is critical. But also be cognizant of when those decisions are typically happening. And you could, again, ask about this, ask your boss, ask your HR team, get a feel of when are these decisions typically happening? What kind of process is happening internally. And this is especially important if you're new in a company and you don't know that yet. You haven't even been there for a full year. I've had clients who have secured their promotion in less than a year in their first job because of putting these very intentional steps into place, right? And not necessarily, I have to stay here a year before even talking about a promotion. Again, that's that set, right?
The mindset. And look, I've seen the same thing. I mean, I was promoted less than a year into a company. I help my clients do the same. And actually, this is what I tell people to do. And I think some people think I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm still going to share it with you. You start a new role, you take the first 90 days to kind of establish yourself, figure out what you want to do, set goals, really get a head start. And after those 90 days, that's when you start thinking about the next level. It doesn't mean you drop everything you're doing, but you start asking yourself the question, will this get me closer to my goal? And that's going to help you make better decisions in your current role that will actually qualify you for the next level. It doesn't mean you expect a promotion within, 4 months into a new company. It just means that you stay open to it and you think about it, and it allows you to make better decisions that will eventually get you there when you're ready, when you actually hit those KPIs and you get the skills that qualify you for the next level.
So good, Maya. Okay, I think we probably have time for maybe 2 last quick questions. I've got one here. It is, I would like to have a mentor and was thinking of asking my boss's boss. I really look up to her. Would that be appropriate and help with my career development?
Okay, so many layers here. Let's break it down. First and foremost, what's the difference between a mentor and a coach? So a mentor is someone that you every now and then can reach out to and maybe have a friendly conversation. They don't get paid for doing that, so it's coming out of their good heart. Someone like what we do, who's a coach, is actually paid to give you advice, to help you, to empower you. There's a big difference. Why? Because when people do it for free, they don't like doing it very often. And it's very intimidating if you come to someone and just tell them, hey, would you be my mentor? It's kind of like being on a first date and asking someone, will you marry me? Okay? A little bit scary. So what you want to do instead is build a relationship first. So you can reach out, and we're going to talk about your manager in a minute because that's a little bit tricky. But you can reach out to that stakeholder and put something on their calendar. And what you're going to do, instead of telling them, oh, I want you to be my mentor and I want you to teach me, you're going to reach out and tell them that you want to learn more about the business, that you want to get their perspective about the company's goals for 2023. And you're going to do it for 2 reasons. One, because it's going to make you look more strategic. And 2, it's going to make it very hard for them to say no, because that's very valuable for them when an employee wants to know about a company. You're also going to ask for 15 or 20 minutes of their time. You're not going to ask for a full hour. And I think if you do that, you have a good conversation. While you're on that conversation, this is very important. That's when you ask them, hey, this has been really valuable for me. Would you mind if we do this once a quarter, once a month? And hopefully you're going to get a yes. And that's when you can actually start scheduling those meetings. Now, about meeting your manager's manager. That's a skip level meeting. First and foremost, most companies, especially if it's a big enough company, they should already have skip meetings on the calendar. Your manager's manager needs to talk to you about your manager. If that's not happening, talk to HR. Ask them about it. Now, because it's a little bit touchy, right? Your manager wants to look good in front of their manager. And if you're going to have a conversation directly with their boss, they might be a little bit intimidated. Unfortunately, some managers feel that way. So I would highly recommend that, 1, you will let your manager know. Do not do it behind their back. 2, position it as a career growth opportunity. Explain to your manager that you're just looking to learn a little bit more and you're hoping to gain a mentor inside the company. So it's not about complaining. It's not about, dumping on your manager. It's not going to intimidate them because your goal is not to talk about work. It's about career. And I think if you position it that way, your manager is more likely to feel good about it and actually facilitate.
I couldn't agree more, Maya. Those are such good points. I hope you guys all took notes about that. It's actually what I did with one of my mentors. And by the way, I recommend even having multiple mentors throughout the lifetime of your career. But I had my boss's boss as my mentor, and I did essentially what Maya just shared. And on top of it, I really had opportunities even prior to the mentorship type of approach to build a one-to-one connection. We just meshed. She was like the older version of me in the company, and she even expressed to me that she saw a lot of me in her. And so that was the opening that I knew it wouldn't feel uncomfortable or awkward to eventually lead to more of that officialized mentorship type of relationship. But what Maya said, and I want to reiterate this point, do not overstep your boss. Do not do this behind their back. That will rub them the wrong way. Involve them. Involve them in the conversation. Let them know your intention so that there's no weird awkwardness of like, what's happening here? Because remember, your boss is going to talk to your boss. So if you don't do it, they're going to do it. And then that can really backfire. And we want to avoid that. Okay, amazing. Let's take maybe one last quick question, Maya, if you're okay with that. Okay, I think it was here. I recently got a promotion, aka more responsibility and a bigger job title, but my pay structure and income hasn't changed. Any advice? Oh, where to start? Okay, it's a loaded question to close out, but I'll let you take the lead and I'll add on too.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of wondering, how is that even possible if you're being acknowledged for doing more and getting the title? Obviously, that should come with a little bit of compensation. However, I've actually been hearing this a lot recently, that companies are struggling to do that. So there are two things that I would probably do, and to be honest, you probably wanted to do that a little bit earlier in the negotiation. So first and foremost, you can negotiate a future raise. Meaning, if the company is unable to support you right now, if they tell you we're going to give you the title, you're going to get the skills, but we can't actually pay you, then you can have a conversation about what it looks like when they can, because this recession is not, going to be here forever. Negotiate it into your offer. So 6 months from now, right, I'm going to get X raise in my salary. It's not ideal, but at least you have something in writing. And when you negotiate something that is further into the future, it's a little bit easier because the company doesn't feel the pain immediately. They don't have to pay right now. So they feel a little bit better and they might be more inclined to do that. So that's step number one. Step number two, obviously you should have negotiated that when it happened, but I actually commend you because getting that title, so if you actually got if you were leveled up in terms of your seniority, that's going to open doors for you externally. That means that they actually now help you get a better salary and a better job externally. And if you're not happy with the company right now, if you do not believe they will compensate you for doing more work in the near future, then it's time to start looking elsewhere. And I know that people find it very difficult to search for a job. Trust me, I have done it so many times in my life and I hate it. However, a little bit of pain is worth what's going to happen when you get that next level job. Because if you are recognized for your skills, that means you're ready. That means that when you go look externally, other companies will think you're ready too. And they might be willing to pay you your worth. And I'm not saying you have to drop everything and go do it, but start looking, start thinking, create opportunities for yourself. Because when you do more work, when you add more value,
100%. And, just to echo what Maya was saying, you need the commitment from them. The timeline, of course, you want it to be something in the nearer future, not something that you're going to have to be new title, these new responsibilities for a year before seeing any increment in your salary. That is just like a red flag right there, where they are clearly taking advantage of you as an employee. They're milking what they can. And the issue with that happening too long, I actually just did a recent post about this, is that you set a bad precedent. You set the precedent that you will do more for the same income level. And then that hurts that precious business case that we talked about, whether it's around promotion or salary. This is going to hurt your case because you've taken all these months to do this next level work for the same income. So that getting that commitment of what does that timeline look like? What can we work towards? What's feasible? And get that in writing is essential. Otherwise, it could be a very slippery slope. And to Maya's point, will likely be an option of possibly looking elsewhere, getting other offers on the table that could possibly be used for internal negotiations, or maybe just be the thing that you were missing with your current company. That's the opportunity that I need to take. Okay, this was amazing. Maya, thank you so much. I think we brought a lot of golden gems tonight. And thank you for everyone who tuned in. This has been amazing. If you weren't able to join in live, we'll be able to catch the replay on my page. I'll be posting that after. You guys have to check this out. This is your year. If you've been really dying to get that promotion and it just hasn't been happening, your strategy is not working, something needs to change. We pretty much laid out the entire roadmap of what needs to happen. I'm so happy to have been able to partner with my good friend Maya and fellow career coach to bring this energy tonight. And we also have some really exciting news as we close out the session. We are all about paying it forward. I think you've gathered that from tonight's session, but we want to take it that step further and really build into these topics, these action steps a lot more for you. And so we both have very exciting free events coming up. That's right, they are free events. So honestly, it's foolish to not partake because this is just free advice, free strategy, free guidance that's going to help you level up in so many ways. So you've probably seen it on my page because I've been talking about it a lot, but I really hope you're all going to join me next week for my free Career Growth Accelerator 5-day masterclass. This is all around helping you to fast track your career success without compromising your well-being. Right? I'm a big advocate that your goals, those promotions, those raises, those opportunities do not have to come at the expense of killing yourself, of burning out, of spreading yourself too thin. You need the right strategy so that you can have it all. And that's what we're going to be talking about next week. So please join me for that. If you haven't already, register in my link in bio, and I will see you there. It's going to be amazing, live every day, 12 p.m. EST for 30 to 40-minute sessions. That's it. These daily 30-minute sessions are going to change your life. So you have to be there. I cannot wait to have you there. And Maya has an incredibly exciting event coming up too, even oriented more for executive professionals. So if you are at a stage in your career where you are looking to really take that big leap, make those quantum leaps like she was saying, I'll let her speak to it, but you have to check it out. Check out her profile on Instagram. Definitely follow her over on LinkedIn. She has all the information there as well. But Maya, why don't you share a little bit what's coming up for you in February?
Yeah, and I love that we made sure that people can attend both. So your masterclass is going to be on the 23rd, and mine is actually going to start on February 6th. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to get 5 hours of free coaching from Tiffany. You're going to learn everything you need to accelerate your career, and then you're going to join my masterclass on how to get to the executive level. So you're going to take it even further, and you're going to get 5 more hours of free coaching. And just let me tell you, this is about $10,000 worth of coaching. I am not kidding you. And we're doing this because we both want to give back. We have clients, we get paid for what we do, but we want to make sure that we also spread the message because no one teaches you how to do this. We had to figure out the hard way, and we want to give back and teach people how to do that because anyone can level up. Anyone can build a career and life that they love. And you know what? You deserve it. So we want you to have it. More details, you can go to my Instagram profile and just click the link. You can register there or come say hi to me on LinkedIn. DM me, let me know that you actually watched this live, and I will gladly connect with you.
So good, Maya. It sounds like a fire session. That 5-day masterclass is going to be amazing. Guys, seriously, don't be shy in reaching out. Send us a DM. I get this comment all the time when I respond to my DMs. It's like, oh my gosh, it's really you. Yes, it's me. I mean it. I'm all about community. Maya too. She has an incredible following on LinkedIn. Definitely follow her there. Follow her on Instagram. Send us DMs. Let us know you tuned in tonight. Let us know what your biggest takeaways were. Let us know if you're going to be joining our free events coming up. We really hope to see you there. And thank you so much for taking this precious time out of your Wednesday night or possibly morning, depending where you are in the world, to join us. And thank you, Maya. This has been so much fun. If you guys want to see more of me and Maya in action, if you want to see more duos, dynamic duos together, or more sessions like this, let us know too. You could comment when I post it on my page. Let us know in the comments right there if you want to see more of this. Send us DMs, let us know, and we could very much make that happen, okay? So thanks again, Maya. It's always such a pleasure, and we'll speak soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.